I pause at the doorway of my mother's office, my hand resting on the brass doorknob. The late afternoon light filters through plantation shutters, casting striped shadows across the mahogany desk where she sits, a cream envelope in hand. My envelope. My invitation. She doesn't flinch or explain. Instead, with deliberate poise, she slips it under a leather folio. "I didn't hear you come in," she says. I step forward, the familiar scent of lemon polish mixed with Chanel perfume filling the air. Was that my invitation to the reunion? I ask. Her fingers tap the desk once, a habit of hers when calculating a response. The organizers must have made a mistake. The lightning round is for major business achievements only. And you decided to intercept my mail to fix their mistake? My voice is steady, though my pulse pounds. She exhales sharply, her lips tightening. Darling, that's a table for millionaires. You don't belong there. The words hang, blunt and final. I've heard variations of this sentiment all my life. Yet hearing it stated so directly stings anew. Behind me, Victoria appears, her pantsuit flawless, chestnut hair perfectly styled. Mom, the car is... She stops, eyes flicking between us. Oh, mercy, I didn't realize you were here. Apparently no one did, I reply softly. Her gaze lands on the half-hidden envelope. Recognition hardens her expression. Stay in your lane. Mercy, don't embarrass us. I stand motionless, the weight of 33 years pressing down, sitting at side tables during gatherings, introductions that minimized my research as Mercy's little project, the Christmas my father patted my head when I announced a medical fellowship instead of joining Allen Enterprises. I see, I say quietly, surprised at my own calm. Turning, I walk away, my heels clicking on marble floors polished by generations of Allen success. Behind me, Victoria's voice murmurs, "She'll get over it." She always does. Back in my small apartment, I set my keys in a ceramic dish and slip off my shoes. Research papers clutter my coffee table, sticky notes marking key findings. My world couldn't be further from the chandelier-lit mansion I just left. The Allen empire grew from telecommunications into real estate and venture capital. At dinner, discussions revolved around acquisitions and shares. My siblings thrived in that environment. I did not. I remembered countless hours spent preparing business school presentations for my brother, pitch decks for my sister. No one asked about my biochemistry degree or the cardiac support device I was developing. When I turned down a role at Allen Enterprises to pursue research, my father's disappointment was unmistakable. "You're throwing away your birthright," he'd said, as though the Allen name alone was success. My phone buzzes. James, my partner at Med Allen Labs. It's happening. Press release goes out during the reunion. 2 $1.5 million licensing deals plus royalties. You ready? Vindication surges through me. 3 years of long days, rejections, and failed prototypes have led to this. A device that could save thousands of lives? Dismissed by my family as irrelevant. I slide open my closet, hands shaking slightly as I search my limited professional wardrobe. My eyes land on a burgundy blazer. Aunt Mary's words echo. Never let them take your voice away. I pick up my phone and dial the reunion coordinator. Hello, this is Mercy Allen. I'm confirming my spot in the lightning round. My voice firms. Some traditions need to change. A week later, I stand outside the Westbrook Hotel ballroom, watching through the glass like an outsider. Inside, Victoria laughs effortlessly at Richard's joke. Father claps an investor on the back. Mother drifts among the crowd, champagne steady in hand. My chest tightens. A year since I've seen them. A year of freedom from dismissive glances. Just breathe, I whisper, adjusting my blazer. Inside my leather portfolio sits the press release, scheduled to drop in 90 minutes. Timing is everything. I square my shoulders and push the heavy door open. The attendant looks startled. Miss Allen? We weren't expecting you? I was invited, I answer, sharper than I intended. At the registration table, cousins collect name badges. The attendant searches, unease growing. I'm sorry, I don't see a badge for Mercy Allen. Let me check the schedule. I glance at the printed agenda. In the slot where my name should be. Gregory Phillips. Investment opportunities in emerging markets. My brother-in-law. Victoria's husband. There must be a mistake, I say. Though we both know better. Nearby, my father's voice carries. Mercy's work is academic. Not substantial. The words cut cleanly, precise, deliberate. Meant to exclude. Victoria's eyes meet mine across the room. For a brief second, I catch a flicker of guilt before she quickly looks away, pulling her group of admirers with her. An attendant approaches, gently touching my arm. "I'll speak with the coordinator," she says, disappearing. Minutes later, she returns with a new badge and a quiet apology. "Your presentation slot has been restored. 7:20 p.m. I fasten the badge to my blazer, though the small victory feels hollow compared to the wider betrayal. "Mercy." The sound of my aunt's voice soothes me instantly. Aunt Mari walks over, arms open. Her embrace smells faintly of her signature perfume, comfort mixed with understanding. "I knew you'd come," she says warmly. "They didn't think I would," I murmur into her shoulder. "Which is exactly why you had to," she replies, patting my cheek. "Never let anyone write your story for you." Her eyes, the same shade of blue as mine, glint with mischief. "I saved you a seat." As we weave through the crowd, my cousin David, who manages a hospital administration department in Boston, approaches. "Mercy, I've been meaning to call. I read your abstract in the biomedical journal last month. The applications for rural hospitals are incredible." Before I can respond, the family photographer interrupts. "Miss Allen, may I get a picture of you with your sister?" Mother appears behind him, resting a hand on his arm. "Just Victoria, with her father for now," for the succession announcement. "Actually," the photographer insists, guiding me next to Aunt Marie, "I'd like a few shots of all the Allen women together." He gives a discreet wink. Across the room, my Uncle William, father's eldest brother who sold his shares years ago to travel, pulls out a chair at the main table. "This seat's for you." "Mercy, right between me and your aunt." I sit down, fully aware of Mother's disapproving glance from the doorway. The table is set with flawless white cloths, crystal glasses reflecting the chandelier light, and heavy cardstock place cards in gold lettering. The room falls silent as Father takes the microphone. "Welcome, everyone, to the annual Allen family gathering. Tonight, I'm proud to highlight Victoria, whose property development firm expanded into 3 states this year, and Thomas, whose hedge fund outperformed the market by 18% last quarter." He pauses, but my name never comes. The silence hangs heavy. Victoria smirks behind her glass. Father lifts his drink. "To the Allen business empire, thriving for generations." Applause spreads across the room. Mechanically, I join in while Uncle William quietly pats my knee in support. During cocktails, Victoria brushes past me, muttering, "This room is for real millionaires. What will you talk about? Lab tests?" I don't reply. I've grown numb to comments like these. Soon, the coordinator announces that dinner will be served, followed by lightning presentations. My name now appears on the agenda, hastily added in a mismatched font. I slip out my phone and text James, "I'm ready. Let them hear it first from me." His response is instant. "Press release scheduled for 7:30 sharp. Show them what impact truly means." When dinner begins, I claim my rightful place at the main table. Mother's eyebrows rise ever so slightly. Father looks away, engaged in conversation. Aunt Mari squeezes my hand beneath the table. "Remember what I told you when you were 10? The best revenge is excellence." Her words bring my first genuine smile of the evening. Conversations around me buzz with mergers and investments. I stay quiet, sipping water instead of wine. I need clarity for what's next. My leather portfolio rests at my feet, holding the story that will change everything. Uncle William catches my eye, raising his glass. "To the real future of the Allen family," he whispers. I nod in acknowledgement, eyes fixed on the clock. 20 minutes until I speak. 30 until the press release. 31 until nothing is the same. At the back of the ballroom, I watch the coordinator shuffle index cards. Mother leans in, whispering something that makes her glance at me nervously. "Your mother suggested moving your presentation to the end," she admits. "She thought the more established ventures should go first." My chest tightens. I show her my confirmation email. "My slot is 7:20. That's final." She nods, flustered. "Of course, Miss Allen. Just keep it brief. It's 7:15, 5 minutes to the stage. 5 minutes until the press embargo lifts." Perfect timing, both thrilling and terrifying. Father steps to the podium again, the room instantly silent. "Allen hierarchy demands attention. We've heard remarkable updates today," he says, nodding toward my siblings. "The Allen legacy continues to grow." His eyes finally land on me, reluctant, and our youngest, Mercy, has some lab updates. A ripple of polite laughter spreads. Victoria checks her phone deliberately. Two cousins whisper, amused. I walk to the podium, the Allen crest looming behind me. Silence falls, not respect but hesitation. Someone coughs. A glass clinks. The photographer shifts his weight. I clear my throat. Thank you for the introduction, Father. My voice steadies. The room sharpens into focus. Aunt Mary's smile, Uncle William's watchful eyes. Cousins who never fit the mold either. For the past 3 years, MedAllen Labs has been developing a cardiac support device to treat ventricular insufficiency without invasive surgery. I click the remote. My slides appear. Simple medical diagrams, not flashy charts. Current treatments require open-heart procedures with long recovery times. Our device can be inserted through a catheter, reducing recovery from weeks to days. A few heads lift. Phones are lowered. Interest sparks. The titanium mesh expands within the ventricle wall, offering structural support while preserving natural movement. Especially for patients too fragile for traditional surgery, this is life-saving progress. I notice my cousin, a cardiologist, leaning forward slightly, his boredom giving way to genuine professional interest. We've completed animal testing with a 94% success rate and received FDA approval for the first phase of human trials. Our patent was granted just last month. More eyes turn toward me. Even Father has stopped scrolling through his portfolio app. Clinical trials are scheduled to begin next quarter at Mayo Clinic and Johns Hopkins. I move to the next slide, displaying the prototype. The device weighs less than 6 grams yet can withstand significant pressure. Just then, the clock strikes 7:30. A phone buzzes. Then another. And another. Across the room, phones light up as the press release goes live on both financial and medical news sites. My cousin Edward, who is always glued to his phone, reads it aloud. MedAllen Labs signs $1.5 million licensing deal with Cardiotech International, plus royalties on future sales. Heads shift between Edward and me. Mother's face pales. Father fumbles with his glasses, struggling to read his own screen. I continue as if uninterrupted. The licensing deal secures nationwide distribution through established medical suppliers, ensuring the device reaches hospitals in rural areas as well as large urban centers. The atmosphere changes instantly. People lean forward. Side conversations fade. The photographer, previously focused on Victoria, swings his camera toward me. My phone vibrates in my pocket. It's likely James at the lab across town watching the moment unfold. I can almost hear him say, "This is yours. Stand tall." Aunt Mary discreetly dabs her eye with a napkin. An elderly uncle begins to clap, slowly at first, then more firmly, until the sound spreads through the room. I close with the words we prepared for this moment. MedAllen Labs remains committed to advancing cardiac care through innovation, not tradition. Thank you for your time. The applause follows me back to my seat. Not the roaring cheers Victoria earned for her real estate venture, but steady, thoughtful, and building in strength. Mother sits motionless, her champagne untouched. Father wears the familiar look of someone realizing, too late, that he miscalculated. My phone buzzes nonstop. Messages stream in. James. They're calling from CNN Medical. Dr. Larson from Johns Hopkins. Congratulations, Mercy. Well deserved. Aunt Marie. So proud of you, sweetheart. Your grandmother would be too. Victoria's husband leans across the table. Mercy, why didn't you tell us this was coming? We could have coordinated the family PR strategy. Before I can respond, a silver-haired woman in a flawless suit appears beside me. Elaine Donovan, a venture capitalist whose firm backs half the startups in the room. Miss Allen, I'd love to hear more about your cardiac device. Do you have a card? Of course. I hand her mine, plain, white, with the MedAllen Labs logo I designed myself. She glances at it, then at Victoria, who has moved in close. You must be Mercy's sister. How wonderful to see such innovation in one family. Victoria's smile tightens. Yes, we're very proud. 2 more investors join us, followed by a hospital administrator. Father tries to contribute, but technical questions about ventricular support leave him nodding vaguely. Across the room, Mother watches as her carefully curated social circle begins drifting toward me. The photographer captures the moment, Mother alone in her elegant dress, clutching her pearls while I stand surrounded by engaged listeners. I explain to one investor that the true breakthrough isn't only the device, but also its deployment method. We've reduced a highly complex procedure into something any cardiac surgeon can perform with minimal additional training. The investor nods. That's where the market growth lies. Smart focus. From the corner of my eye, I see mother signaling to father, an old system of silent communication they've used for years, now aimed at damage control. But it's too late. The room has already shifted. The PowerPoint slides cycle on for the next speaker, but half the audience keeps glancing in my direction. Phones are passed around with the press release. Someone pulls up Cardiotech's stock chart, already ticking upward on the news. For the first time in 33 years of Allen family gatherings, I am not overlooked, not dismissed. Not the daughter told to know her place. I am simply Mercy Allen, and today I have earned this seat. The business card between my fingers feels like proof made real. A healthcare venture capitalist gave it to me, not to my father. That alone marks a first in Allen family history. My presentation wrapped up just 15 minutes ago, yet I'm still surrounded by curious relatives and investors who now find my little project worth their attention. Your cardiac device could transform post-surgical recovery, says Dr. Levinson, a distant cousin I've barely spoken to before. I've got colleagues at Massachusetts General who'd be interested in clinical trials. I nod, steadying my tone. We've established a strong testing protocol. In animal studies, our device cut recovery complications by 94%. Over his shoulder, I spot my father weaving through the crowd. Drink in hand, his third scotch tonight. His tie is slightly crooked, a rare lapse in his perfect image. Mercy has always had a gifted scientific mind, he declares, placing a heavy hand on my shoulder. I encouraged her interests early on. Remember that chemistry set, sweetheart? The same set he returned because it was too advanced for a girl. The microscope that disappeared once I used it more than my textbooks, the science camp application he refused to sign because Allens don't sleep in cabins. Yes, father. I remember. I shift, gently sliding his hand from my shoulder. Mother appears on my other side. Her Chanel perfume arriving before her voice. Charles, come take a photo with Mercy and me, she calls to the family photographer. Her arm tightens around my waist, her body angled perfectly. Let's get one for the family newsletter. The same newsletter that cropped me out last Christmas. I stand stiff as the flash captures her performance of pride. Her fingers press into my side, a silent warning to cooperate. Mrs. Allen, would you step aside? A woman in a tailored suit asks politely. I'd like a private word with your daughter about possible applications. Mother's smile stays fixed, though her eyes sharpen. Perhaps later. Family first, business second. That's our motto. Actually, I say, easing away. I have time now. Shall we, Miss Winters? As I move, Victoria intercepts, her voice carrying just enough for others to overhear. Mercy, don't you recall I mentioned that cardiac monitor idea years ago, back when you were stuck on the design? She never mentioned anything of the sort. Actually, the concept came from my mitochondrial research, I reply, clearly enough for the room. But I appreciate your interest now. Victoria's smile hardens. Across the room, Great Uncle Walter lifts his glass. To Mercy Allen, the future of the Allen legacy. His voice cuts through the conversations. Father drains his scotch. Mother's hand trembles as she adjusts her pearls. I watch the cracks spread through their carefully built story. For decades, they insisted my path was trivial. Now they scramble to take credit for what they once resisted. Aunt Mari appears beside me, eyes bright with mischief. Remember when Mercy rewired the TV remote at 7 to control her bedroom lights? We should have known she'd outshine us all. Mother's smile freezes. Father signals for another drink. Victoria retreats, phone in hand. As the evening unfolds, I answer questions about FDA approvals and manufacturing plans. Not once do I mention the grants my parents refused to support, or the connections they withheld. My progress stands despite them, not because of them. Mercy, darling. Mother corners me by the dessert table later, her voice sweet with new respect. We should discuss your future with the family. This changes everything. Indeed, Father adds, stepping up. I have contacts who can manage these investors. Together, we could elevate your project under the Allen name. Victoria joins them, forming a united front. A unified Allen strategy could do wonders. I take a slow bite of chocolate mousse, savoring its bitterness. For years, they denied me a place at their table. Now they want seats at mine. I'll consider it, I say, setting down my spoon with a quiet clink on bone china. Their relieved smiles mistake caution for agreement. But tonight I've learned something essential. I don't need their table. I've built my own. 2 days later, I arrive at my parents' home exactly 5 minutes early, a habit drilled in since childhood. The Allens value punctuality above all else. Except, apparently, Honesty Father's silver Mercedes gleams in the circular driveway, parked beside Victoria's Range Rover. A display of status. The housekeeper greets me at the door with a warmth I rarely receive from my own family. Miss Mercy. They're waiting in the conference room. Of course they are. Not in the living room where families talk, but in the room reserved for business negotiations. I follow her through the marble foyer, past the portraits of Allen patriarchs, my sensible heels striking the limestone floor. My messenger bag feels heavy at my side, filled with weeks of carefully gathered documents. Inside, they sit arranged like a tribunal. Father at the head of the polished table, Mother to his right, Victoria to his left. A glowing screen behind them displays a PowerPoint titled Allen Family Healthcare Initiative. Mercy, Father says, his voice carrying a clipped enthusiasm. Right on time. I set my bag on the chair nearest the door but stay standing. I understand you wanted to discuss my company. Father clicks a remote, advancing the slide. I've prepared a plan to leverage the Allen name in healthcare. He gestures at a chart. There's enormous growth potential if we bring Med Allen Labs under Allen Enterprises. Mother leans forward, pearls catching the recessed light. Darling, we've always wanted the best for you. This is about keeping success in the family. It's the same reasoning she once used to explain why my friends weren't welcome at holiday dinners. Victoria taps her nails on her tablet. I've already drafted a press release. We can present Med Allen Labs as an Allen division that's been developing for years. She slides a paper across the table. Our name will open doors you can't on your own. I don't pick it up. Instead, I unzip my bag and pull out a leather portfolio, the one gift from Father I ever kept. Before we continue, I'd like to share some history. Father checks his watch. We have investors waiting, Mercy. This won't take long, I reply. I spread printed emails across the table. These are the responses to my early funding requests, 3 years ago. Mother's eyes narrow. Ancient history isn't relevant. It is context, I answer. One by one, I lay them out. Father, this was your refusal to provide seed funding. Mother, this was your advice to pursue something more appropriate for an Allen. Victoria, this is you warning potential partners not to waste time on my project. The room chills. I continue, placing bank statements beside the emails. This is how I built Med Allen Labs, without your money. Grants, a second mortgage, 16-hour days. Next, I set down incorporation papers. These show my company's independent structure. Father's face reddens. You've made your point. We underestimated your work. Now we're offering what you've always wanted. Family recognition. No. The word hangs between us. You're offering what you've always wanted. Control over something I built without you. Mother twists her pearls. We're your family. You deserve nothing, I interrupt evenly. You had chances to support me. You chose not to. I pull out one final item, a small USB drive. Recordings from family gatherings. Christmas, when Father mocked my fellowship. Thanksgiving, when Victoria told cousins not to mention my boring science. I place it on the table. I don't need these anymore. Father stares at it like it might detonate. The leverage he thought he had is gone. The Allen name matters, Mother whispers, unsettled. Yes, it does, I reply, gathering my papers. But to me, it's meant proving myself without the privileges given to Victoria and Thomas. Victoria pales, realizing I no longer seek their approval. The old family narrative is dissolving. I shoulder my bag. My terms are simple: respect my independence or stay out of my success. Choose a genuine relationship or no relationship at all. Father opens his mouth, then closes it. For once, William Allen has no counteroffer. I acknowledge your past treatment without anger, I add, but I won't allow it to continue. Silence follows, thick with 30 years of dismissal finally addressed. The cardiac device we developed helps people with heart damage, I say as I move toward the door. Ironic, considering I had to protect my own heart from those who should have protected it most. I leave them at the table, stunned. The front door closes softly behind me, more final than a slam. In my car, I exhale for the first time in years. My phone buzzes with a message from James. How'd it go? I start the engine and reply, exactly as expected, and exactly as needed. The burden of evidence I carried has been returned to its rightful owners. What they do with it is no longer my concern. I drive away from the mansion without looking back. The road ahead is mine alone. 1 year later, sunlight streams through the glass walls of Med Allen Labs, brightening the expanded research facility I once only dreamed of. My footsteps echo with certainty across the floors of a future I built myself. Polished concrete floors guide my steps as I move between workstations. Researchers in lab coats gather around prototype heart devices, their attention fixed on progress rather than politics. Dr. Allen? The new pressure sensors just arrived, calls Morgan, a talented engineer I recruited from a community college program. She lifts the package, her excitement untouched by corporate formality. I smile, still adjusting to hearing my name spoken with genuine respect. Perfect timing. Let's test them this afternoon. My office is a glass-walled space built for teamwork rather than separation. On one wall hangs a framed copy of our first patent, alongside photos of patients whose lives were changed by our device. No family portraits occupy the space, an absence that feels like freedom. My phone buzzes with Aunt Mari's weekly message. Proud of you every day, sweetheart. Unlike my mother's carefully measured comments about reputation and image, Mari's support has always been unconditional. I've learned the value of that difference. My business partner, Dr. James Weber, appears in the doorway carrying 2 mugs of coffee. The Peterson Hospital Group wants to expand their contract, he says, placing one on my desk. Your presentation to their cardiac team last month sealed the deal. Our presentation, I correct, accepting the mug. This has always been a team achievement. The words matter, an intentional contrast to my family's belief that individual triumph outweighs collective effort. My father still calls occasionally, urging me to leverage my position or the Allen name. He means well in his limited way. Victoria, though, surprised me most. Last month, she visited the lab, asking sharp questions about our protocols. Afterwards, she admitted, smoothing her blazer, I never really understood what motivated you. Maybe I still don't fully, but it's impressive, Mercy. It truly is. Some relatives keep their distance, holding on to old hierarchies. I've made peace with that. Tonight, we celebrate FDA approval with a dinner honoring everyone who made it possible, from custodial staff to lead investors. I instructed the catering team to arrange tables in concentric circles, not tiers. Everyone who contributed sits at the main table, I told them, because there is only one main table. My phone rings with my mother's tone. A year ago, I might have ignored it. Today, I answer. Mercy. Her voice carries its usual crispness, softened slightly at the edges. I wanted to congratulate you before tonight's event. Thank you, I reply simply, accepting but not overstating the fragile gesture. After the call, I pause at the window overlooking the research park, where our scholarship recipients will soon begin internships, young scientists from difficult backgrounds, much like mine once was. The setting sun casts my reflection across the glass, merging present success with past struggles that built my resolve. My hand rests on the prototype of our next breakthrough, a smaller device that will help thousands more. My name is Mercy Allen, I whisper to my reflection, and I belong exactly where I've chosen to be.